For those of you who have tried and failed to get organized, or maybe you're just starting out and you don't know where to begin, I'm here to tell you you can do it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but with the 5 strategies that I'm going to share today, it is going to be more than possible. All you need to do is take the first step. So I'm going to give you 5 strategies that are going to completely stop your decluttering decision paralysis today. The first point is very key, and when I was decluttering my own home, specifically the attic, which I'm sitting in right now, I was very overwhelmed by the amount of stuff I had in my house. And it wasn't even stuff that I could see on a daily basis because a lot of it was in storage. But in the back of my mind, I knew I had a lot of stuff and it was just weighing on me. And I was thinking, I got to do this. And years would go by. I never did it. So my number one strategy, and this helped me, it is to start small and really break down tasks. And I'm going to just give you some very simple ways you can do this. You can even break these tasks down to 5 minutes. I've recommended 10 minutes in the past. If that's too much, 5 minutes is fine. So instead of saying you're going to declutter the whole cabinet, you know what? Just declutter one shelf. That way, it's not too much, and you are going to be much more willing to take on the job if you just know that it's one little shelf within the cabinet and not the whole thing. And if you don't know where to begin, just write everything down that you need to do and flip a coin. Just start somewhere is the key. You can even micro-categorize tasks, and basically all this means is you are breaking down entire tasks into a smaller part. So you could even break the shelf down into a smaller part. Maybe you're just going to do the books on the shelf and not all of the knickknacks. Or maybe you've got your whole bedroom. Instead of doing your whole bedroom, you're going to do under the bed or one drawer in your nightstand. What happens is when you complete these micro tasks, you feel really good about it, and then it keeps you going. You feel really motivated. When I was decluttering my attic, I have a lot of toys up here from my kids, and so I set to work simply looking for really good baby toys that they no longer used or played with that I could donate to our daycare. So that's what I did. I did not focus on decluttering the whole attic. I simply went through and picked out the baby toys that I could put in a bag to give to the daycare, and that was my micro task. The second strategy is one that I use with every single decluttering project, and at this point it's just second nature, and when I tell you what it is, you're going to realize that you want to use this as well, and it is to have a list of questions that you ask yourself as you're going through the decluttering. What you need to do is you have to have these questions so that you can decide. And I'll tell you in a minute why I think this is really important, but let me just tell you the questions that I like to ask myself. And there's a lot. You could just pick a few that are more relevant to you, but here's some good ideas to get you started. Number 1, do I use this item regularly? Number 2, does this item bring me joy or serve a clear purpose? Number 3, will I miss this item if it's gone? Number 4, is this item repairable or reusable? Maybe I could repurpose it or use it in a different way. And then, does this fit into my current lifestyle or my future plans? When I'm decluttering something, I always make a decision based on a reason of why I want to declutter it. So I'm not simply decluttering for the sake of decluttering. I'm getting rid of something for a very specific reason. For example, I'm going to declutter this candle because I'm trying to reduce fragrances in my home and I won't burn it. Or I am going to declutter this top because the sleeves are too short and I won't wear it. These questions really simplify your decluttering process, simplify your choices, and they reduce the pressure of decision making. It's kind of weird, but the way I like to look at it is if I have a reason for why I'm getting rid of something, I feel really good and confident in getting rid of it. And I feel confident in that decision because I'm not just opening a bag and stuffing a bunch of things into it for the sake of decluttering. I'm actually making a decision and saying why I'm getting rid of something. Don't forget to click that subscribe button down below. It's free. Next is the Pareto Principle. You may have heard about this. It's kind of interesting, and there's a few ways that you can apply this. So this stemmed from this Italian guy, Vilfredo Pareto, and he kind of discovered this 80-20 thing, also called the Pareto Principle. He kind of discovered this when he was at university, and he noticed in 1897 that 20% of the people in England owned 80% of the land. Since then, this theory has been applied to so many things in modern life. You may think, oh, that was a long time ago, it doesn't matter. But science has proven that this is so true in so many other things. And if you watch any minimalism channels or other, videos on decluttering and cleaning, you will see this 80-20 principle a lot. I even saw a stat that we actually only wear 20% of our clothing 80% of the time. So it just can be applied to so many different things. But today we're talking about decluttering. So let me tell you a couple ways you can use this. One of the things you can do is you can focus on 20% of the tasks that you have for decluttering that will make 80% of the impact. So if you can identify the high impact or priority areas in your home, that's going to give you the 80% impact. This will for sure reduce decision fatigue and help you get out of this decision paralysis mode you might be in. Another way that people do this is they think of their space as this 100% of a space, and they fill it 80% and then leave 20% open for visual relief. I've kind of talked about this before. When you have a shelf, you don't want to fill it up. You want to leave some space. Same thing can be applied with your decluttering. You can strive to get rid of 20% of the items and leave 80%. Use it in your closet. This is definitely key. If we're only wearing 20% of our clothing 80% of the time, that gives you a good place to start in your closet, and you can save a lot of your time and energy that way. The next strategy is all about adopting a flexible approach to decluttering. And I'm going to give you some ways that you can be flexible about this, but I think you just need to sort of understand that there is no one size fits all to decluttering. It is so personal. I'm sharing what works for me. It may not work for you. I have a lot of ideas on things you can do and how you can help your house, but again, you need to be flexible. So for this flexible approach, what I think you need to do is really sort of think about what are the areas in your home that are most accessible for you to be decluttering. So you don't have to apply these hard and fast rules. You don't have to do the high priority areas. You don't have to do the high impact areas. Maybe you just want to do the easiest thing for you in this moment. And that's okay because we're flexible. Another thing that I think is really flexible, and you've probably heard this before, and I love this idea because I think it helps ease you into getting rid of something if you do have this decision fatigue, is to have a maybe box. I think that is giving you some flexibility because you don't have to have a clear yes or a no, it's a maybe. So you're being flexible with it. You're putting it in a box, you're labeling it with a date, and you're coming back to it if you decide that you want to get rid of it or keep it. If you want to just make some quick decisions, if you have that flexibility of this box, you can do that more easily and you don't get fatigued in your decluttering activities. This next strategy is all about establishing a decluttering routine. I have a few thoughts on this. I think there are a couple ways you can do this. You could set regular decluttering times. So maybe every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., you're going to do decluttering. Maybe you're going to do a checklist. Maybe you're going to make a grid. You're going to do something that gets you into this routine of decluttering. Or you could just incorporate decluttering into your day. I do this now on autopilot. Just this morning, my son was going to school and he told me he needed a composition notebook. So I went to where our school supplies were stored to look for a notebook for him. I found an old shower head that my husband had replaced, and it was just sitting there in a box, and don't ask me why it was with our school supplies. But guess what? I took that out and I put it in our bag that I have going for the donation center, and I got the notebook for my son. So it wasn't any extra time. I was already in with the school supplies. I just simply found something I could declutter. That enables me to just go about my day normally so that I don't have to view decluttering as this extra step. It's just naturally built into my routine, and I could call it a decluttering routine because it's part of my day. Okay, guys, those are my ideas on how you can completely stop your decision paralysis when it comes to decluttering. If you want to keep the decluttering going, I'm going to link a playlist for you, so click on it and I'll see you over there. Bye-bye.